this episode of Around the County, we get an inside look at the life of a star diver, a sneak preview of our new football head coach, understand the different levels of cheerleading, and meet a track and field player with an interesting story. All this and more on this episode of Around the County.
Welcome to Around the County. On Around the County, we take you to places you've never been and introduce you to people you've never met. I'm Luke Mello.
And I'm Kaylee Parkus. On today's episode, join us while we give you a look behind the scenes at some of Noblesville's athletes and coaches. After 8 seasons as a head coach, Lance Shive decided to step down. The then offensive coordinator and now head coach Jason Simmons has taken over. Producer Luke Mello takes us inside the hiring process and gives us a quick peek at the new head coach.
Jason Simmons is the new face of the Noblesville football program. He served as the offensive coordinator for the past 3 years before head coach Lance Shive stepped down.
Jason, I know you're here tonight with...
I am truly honored and humbled to be the next head football coach in Noblesville High School. I appreciate the shared vision and support of the school board, of the superintendent, Dr. Niedermeyer, of the assistant superintendent, Dr. Stefanoff, and of the principal, Jeff Bryant. It's truly a blessing. As Dr. Stefanoff referenced, we are home. Noblesville Schools is home for our family. So certainly an opportunity that is truly a blessing.
For Simmons, football has been a way of life. He was a state champion football player at Roncalli High School, then received a scholarship to continue his playing career at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. His love of football didn't stop after he was done playing. In fact, Simmons began coaching at various local high schools.
Yeah, I started out when I graduated from Miami. I got hired up at Hamilton Heights. I was there from 1999 to 2005 and was a part of building that program. Back in 1998, they won 0 games, and I got there in 1999. I think we went like 3-7, and then from there we kind of knocked the top off. And so I was a part of building that program in the early 2000s. We won a couple of sectional championships, went on to win 1 regional. And then 2006, I got hired by Ben Davis High School, got hired by Tom Allen, who's the new defense coordinator at IU. Spent 3 years there. 2007 and 2008, I was the offense coordinator. And we made a run to the semi-state, losing to Center Grove in 2008. From there, I got hired back at Hamilton Heights 2009 and 2010. Spent 2 years as the head coach up at Hamilton Heights. Was fortunate enough to win 2 conference championships and 1 sectional championship. We went 21-4 in 2 years, and we had a lot of great players and great coaches, and that was a great learning experience for me. This is my 3rd year at Noblesville, and the 2 years prior to coming here to Noblesville, I spent 2 years as the assistant athletic director of Ben Davis. So, been at 3 high schools, but 5 different stops, and so I think all of those stops have been just as rewarding as the next. And so,
The committee took the hiring process very seriously. Former head coach Lance Shive had such a lasting impact on the program and its players, and the committee wanted that to continue with the next coach. Athletic director Mike Hash talks about why the committee believed that Jason Simmons was the right choice to keep the program trending in the right direction at Noblesville.
We had 4 great candidates that we interviewed, but it seemed as though that Coach Simmons, having been here the past 3 years, he knows our culture. He has had success as a head coach. He's well respected around the entire state as a head, as an assistant, as being involved in the Football Coaches Association. And even here in school, you can see that not only do the student athletes, but the students respect him, admire him, and look up to him. And we feel that type of leadership that he brings to the table is very beneficial.
The members of the hiring committee aren't the only people that believe in Simmons' ability to lead a 6A football program. Head strength coach at Noblesville High School, Brian Clark, explains the necessary characteristics of a championship caliber coach and why, from what he's seen, Simmons has what it takes.
You start to see all the little things that make a big deal, and Coach Simmons and I have a great relationship that started absolutely professionally, and we have a very good personal relationship as well. But the thing you're going to find with Coach Simmons and his staff and for the players is high level of accountability. He's going to put on his players and high expectations and really demand that the little things are done at a high level. And so he witnessed that at Ben Davis as a coach himself there. He witnessed it as a head coach over at Hamilton Heights, the success they had here, and also in a short time here as an offensive coordinator. So we're all excited here for the tradition to kind of continue, and he's definitely going to help put us in a better place.
Current players are taking notice of the winning culture that Simmons is creating, both on the football field and in the everyday school setting. Junior Grant Bullard gives a first-hand experience of his interactions with the new head coach.
He wants to know us, he cares about us as players personally, and he wants to help us and make us the best players we can. And when you have a coach that you want to play for and that cares about you and you care about them, you're going to be a more successful team. Whenever you see him in the hallway, Simmons just always has a smile on his face. He's just greeting anybody he sees. He's just a happy guy who loves what he does.
Simmons explains what this job means to him and how he plans to make his mark on the program.
Coach before, but Noblesville is home for our family. It's where our kids go to school. It's been home for us for 7 or 8 years now. There's a lot of great people here that I've had relationships prior to coming here with. And to get the opportunity to work with them and be a part of future successes here is a tremendous honor. I think that's going to be the most important part for me, is building young people and then developing teams and programs from there. I'm passionate about this place. It is home. There's a lot of great people here. I know for a fact that we can win here, and it's because of the people that are here and the student athletes that we have coming through our program. I'm excited about the resources that we have at Noblesville. I'm excited about the leadership that I'll be working for, and so I think it's a great opportunity for us.
Both Simmons and Noblesville are excited for the future. Football season may be 6 months away, but Simmons is already establishing himself as the leader of the program.
Hitting the ground running, so thank you very much.
Welcome back, Hamilton County. Today we are joined with Jason Simmons. Mr. Simmons, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of course. So, what made you decide to take on being a head coach for NHS Football?
Well, I tell you, the opportunity to be the head coach in Noblesville it's a dream for us. I say us in terms of our family. We live in Noblesville. This is my 3rd school year here. It's a great opportunity because we're in Hamilton County. We're in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, which is a very competitive conference. We're in 6A football, which is the best football you can get in the state of Indiana, and we have great kids here. We have great kids that have had a good off season so far. And we're certainly looking forward to getting started this summer.
Sounds awesome. What are your goals for the football program here?
Well, my own personal goals are for these guys to get better every single day. The big thing that we talk to our players about right now is growing as people. We're in that part of our off season right now where we can spend a lot of time with them as people, not necessarily as football players. And so, we've tried to do some character development, some player development stuff. We've certainly stressed them in the weight room and in conditioning. So we're trying to grow them as people, and then if we grow them as people, then we're trusting the fact that they're going to be better players at the end of it.
Nice. Do you also see any community involvement? Do you plan on implementing that as well?
Yeah, we have. We took on community service projects starting in March.
Okay.
Our program started working over at White River Christian Church in the food pantry one day a month, one Thursday a month. And we also started working at Grace Community Church in the food pantry there. And so our kids have really done, we've had over 50 hours of community service this off season so far, and we're looking forward to some Serve Noblesville projects. We're going to look at taking a couple of those on this summer. And so it's important for our players to understand to give of themselves, and that's part of their personal growth that we're working on. But we do want to give back to our community because our community does an outstanding job of supporting our program.
All right, awesome. What changes do you want to bring to the program?
Well, I think any time there's a transition in coaching, there's going to be changes, whether it's how we practice, whether it's how we do things, whether it's the locker room dynamics. there will be some little changes throughout, whether it's in the, like the locker room decorations, uniforms. There's always going to be those little changes that we bring to it. I think for us, the biggest thing is how we prepare and how we go about practicing. We have to make sure that we make our kids uncomfortable, because through being uncomfortable and through being stressed, they're going to learn a lot about themselves and grow as people. And that's going to be probably our biggest charge starting this summer.
Okay. How do you plan on, because I know you're an administrator as well, how do you plan on balancing both your administrative duties and being a head coach? How do you plan on doing that?
It's going to take some time. We're going to have to juggle that. There's so many parts that play into that. We have to make sure we have great, outstanding senior leadership. And our players have to know that they're going to be a part of growing and leading our program. We have to have great coaches. Have to have a great coaching staff. We have coaches in the building that have done an outstanding job so far this off season. And then after that, it's just going to come down to me being organized and making sure that I'm getting both things done and done well.
Mm-hmm. Do you plan on keeping people in terms of your coaches, or do you plan on swapping out?
We've had some changes in our coaching staff. We've brought some guys on board that I think are going to do a great job for our program. And then we've also had some guys that are in the building right now. Coach Metzler, Coach Taylor, Coach Small, Coach McCormick. Those guys have done an outstanding job giving of themselves to Noblesville football the past couple of years. And, we certainly want to keep their involvement strong.
All right. How does it feel moving from, because I know you were an offensive coordinator before, how does it feel shifting from that to now being in charge?
Obviously, it's going to give us it's going to give me an opportunity to reach out to all of the young people in our program, to certainly be connected there. It gives me an opportunity to not only lead our coaches, but to lead every phase of our program. So it's something that I'm truly excited about, and it's been a great opportunity so far.
Your administrative duties and being a head coach, how do you plan on doing that?
It's going to take some time. We're going to have to juggle that. There's so many parts that play into that. We have to make sure we have great, outstanding senior leadership, and our players have to know that they're going to be a part of growing and leading our program. We have to have great coaches. Have to have a great coaching staff. We have coaches in the building that have done an outstanding job so far this off season. And then after that, it's just going to come down to me being organized and making sure that I'm getting both things done and done well.
Mm-hmm. Do you plan on keeping people in terms of your coaches, or do you plan on swapping out?
We've had some changes in our coaching staff. We've brought some guys on board that I think are going to do a great job for our program. And then we've also had some guys that are in the building right now. Coach Metzler, Coach Taylor, Coach Small, Coach McCormick. Those guys have done an outstanding job giving of themselves to Noblesville football the past couple of years. And, we certainly want to keep their involvement strong.
All right. How does it feel moving from, because I know you were an offensive coordinator before, how does it feel shifting from that to now being in charge?
It feels great. Obviously it's the time demands have grown. It's given me an opportunity to be a part of every young man in our program's life, and trying to build those relationships with them.
All right, from the top of that, how does it feel moving from being an offensive coordinator after 3 seasons to now being in charge?
It feels great. Obviously it's going to give us it's going to give me an opportunity to reach out to all of the young people in our program, to certainly be connected there. It gives me an opportunity to not only lead our coaches, but to lead every phase of our program. So it's something that I'm truly excited about, and it's been a great opportunity so far.
What advice do you have for any future football players as they come into the program?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice is to embrace work, and that's embracing work academically, embracing work athletically, and just embracing work outside of school. Outside of that school umbrella. It's easy to go home and get caught up in the iPad, get caught up in technology, but what are you truly learning when you're doing those things? And so the biggest thing we want our kids to do is to embrace work, number one. Number two, we want them to have great character in everything that they do. Number three, we want them to give of themselves. When you're in a community like Noblesville, there's a lot of opportunities to give, whether it's to younger age people, whether it's to the community, whether it's to older people, whether it's to churches or community groups. There's a lot of opportunity for our players to give back of themselves, and I think that speaks to their character, and it speaks to them embracing work. And so, those are the pieces of advice that we can give our guys. We're going to stress them. We're going to challenge them every single opportunity we get, because then they're going to grow as people. And they won't be comfortable playing for us, but we want to make sure that they have the best experience possible.
All right, anything else you got to say?
No, I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
At NHS, Miller divers have had legacies throughout the years with David Bodaya, Mimi Sharp, and now Diana Pope. Producer Sam Cripe dips her toes into the world of NHS diving.
This is Diana Popa. She is a record-breaking diver at Noblesville High School, and she tells us what diving is to her.
It's just a lot because I've been doing it for 7 years now, and it's just part of my life. And every day I go and do it. Just being with my team every day, we've gotten so close that we all know each other better than we know ourselves sometimes. So it's fun. What we have to do, we do a lot of dryland, which is like trampoline and like dryland board. So it prepares us for doing dives in the water. It makes us less scared, we know what we're doing. And I guess in normal diving, you just kind of jump off and see what happens.
Diana believes that she has improved since she started diving in 5th grade and explains her favorite dive.
Inwards. It's like you stand backwards, but you go inward on the board.
Her school schedule and diving life can be hard to combine, but she isn't afraid to stop working.
Well, I come to school till 1, and then I'd go home, pack my bag and stuff, and then I'd go downtown from 3 to 7:15 or so, and then I'd drive back home every day.
Does that ever get stressful?
Yeah, because it's a lot of gas and time and homework and having to balance school. It's hard. I put a lot of time, and it's just a lot of work, and having to go through an injury that I just went through. It's a lot of motivation, and I have to keep positive attitude and stuff. So.
All athletes can get nervous, so we asked Diana what she does to get those nerves out.
Just I listen to music before I go, and then I just jog around. I don't know. Do what the person that won did, feel that confidence. Sometimes, if I do really well and I know I did my best, then I'm not mad. But if I miss a lot of dives, then I'll be mad at myself because I know I could do better than what I did.
Diana keeps working hard towards her goals, and through no matter what, Noblesville High School couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, I want to dive in college and hopefully go to NCAAs, and that'd be cool. So, I put a lot of time, and it's just a lot of work, and having to go through an injury that I just went through. It's a lot of motivation, and I have to keep positive attitude and stuff. So.
In the world of cheer, there are a variety of levels ranging from youth to high school to professional. Producer Chloe Kirby gives us a closer look at the differences between high school, competitive, and collegiate cheers.
Cheer may seem all the same, but there are very distinct differences between each individual type. Hans Stoops, Emily Cole, and Amber Hill each explain their unique experiences with the sport.
I've been cheering for 4 years. I cheered my senior year. I did All-Stars, level 5, went to Worlds, got top 15, and then I cheered 2 years at a junior college, very prestigious school called Trinity Valley Community College. I got a top 4 scores both years I was at school there at NCAA College Nationals. And I cheered 1 year at Sam Houston State and got 2nd place again. I kind of got good really quick. Went to Worlds my first year cheering, made level 5 my first year. Have some of the top scores ever at NCAA College Nationals, so I mean it's really prestigious But I look at it as a point of view. I've never really won a ring, so I haven't really completed my ultimate mission.
Started really late because I started in like 7th grade, and most people start like between like 4 and 5. So I haven't had as much experience as most people have. I started because I feel like I needed to do something else like outside of school, because I started just like tumbling.
I've cheered for 4 years, and I did school cheer in 5th grade, and now I do competition cheer. I cheer at Ice Indy, and I'm on level 3, and we compete like nationally, like all around the world, and my most recent competition was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Practices are intense no matter what type of cheer, but there are some differences in the amount of hours put in for each type.
School cheer is 2 nights a week for 2 hours, and then I also tumble 2 nights a week for 45 minutes each.
You have a routine that you perform for competitions for NCAA nationals, and that's in April every year in Daytona, Florida. You do a routine. It usually lasts about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And what you do to prepare for that is you just do the routine over and over and over until you pretty much hate it.
As a team, we practice about 8 hours a week, but as me as a person, I practice 10 to 12 hours a week because I have extra classes to help with tumbling and other things.
Out of all the different types of cheer, school cheer appears to be the easiest.
Like I said earlier, school cheers, I would say easier. Simple fact that they don't do as much, they don't do a routine. In college cheer, you cheer also, but like I said, you still do a routine at the end of the year, and that's why you practice so much. And then same with professional cheer, like Team USA, Team Beijing, like all the best teams in the world, they are on a whole nother level of cheerleading. It's not even funny. So there's literally levels to it, that there's level 4, 5, and 6. And most school cheer is level 4. Most college or competitive cheer is level 5. And then college and professional cheer is level 6. So there's literally levels to each level of cheerleading, I guess you could say.
School cheer is definitely easier than competitive because it's not as time consuming. I mean, it's still like, we still practices and stuff, but it's not like competitive. School is more like cheering for the team or whatever, and competitive is more cheering for yourself. Like, you don't actually say cheers or whatever, it's just tumbling and stunting. In school we don't do that as much. It's mainly just cheering for the boys basketball and football.
The school cheer is a lot easier because you do like a lot of easier leveled skills, and then in competition cheer you have to know and memorize a routine and throw that routine within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's non-stop activity, so it can be really difficult.
There is much to be gained from cheer aside from all the physical skills. Amber Hill and Hans Stoops explain the more unseen benefits.
Throughout cheer I've met like a lot of different people, and like I like how some of them are like, they don't go to Noblesville, so it's like different people from different counties, and like I find people that are living in different areas, they act differently, and I go to a lot of my cheer friends for like advice when like I need to.
I guess my experience with cheer has been a great thing at least from now till it's not over, but I mean, I've gained so much from it, as in friendships and opportunities with colleges and careers and so on and so forth. That
Some differences in the amount of hours put in for each type.
School cheer is 2 nights a week for 2 hours, and then I also tumble 2 nights a week for 45 minutes each.
you have a routine that you perform for competitions for NCAA nationals, and that's in April every year in Daytona, Florida. You do a routine. It usually lasts about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And what you do to prepare for that is you just do the routine over and over and over until you pretty much hate it.
As a team, we practice about 8 hours a week, but as me as a person, I practice 10 to 12 hours a week because I have extra classes to help with tumbling and other things.
Out of all the different types of cheer, school cheer appears to be the easiest.
Like I said earlier, school cheers, I would say easier. Simple fact that they don't do as much, they don't do a routine. In college cheer, you cheer also, but like I said, you still do a routine at the end of the year, and that's why you practice so much. And then same with professional cheer, like Team USA, Team Beijing, like all the best teams in the world, they are on a whole nother level of cheerleading. It's not even funny. So there's literally levels to it, that there's level 4, 5, and 6. And most school cheer is level 4. Most college or competitive cheer is level 5. And then college and professional cheer is level 6. So there's literally levels to each level of cheerleading, I guess you could say.
School cheer is definitely easier than competitive because it's not as time consuming. I mean, it's still like, we still practices and stuff, but it's not like competitive. School is more like cheering for the team or whatever, and competitive is more cheering for yourself. Like, you don't actually say cheers or whatever, it's just tumbling and stunting. In school we don't do that as much. It's mainly just cheering for the boys basketball and football.
The school cheer is a lot easier because you do like a lot of easier leveled skills, and then in competition cheer you have to know and memorize a routine and throw that routine within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's non-stop activity. So it can be really difficult.
There is much to be gained from cheer aside from all the physical skills. Amber Hill and Hans Stoops explain the more unseen benefits.
Throughout cheer, I've met like a lot of different people, and like I like how some of them are like, they don't go to Noblesville, so it's like different people from different counties, and like I find people that are living in different areas, they act differently, and I go to a lot of my cheer friends for like advice when like I need to.
I guess my experience with cheer has been a great thing from, at least from now till it's not over, but I mean, I've gained so much from it, as in friendships and opportunities with colleges and careers and so on and so forth, that I guess the sky's the limit for cheer.
The NHS varsity track team has had one member who's been a part of the varsity team since her freshman year. Ethan Case takes us inside the life of Katie Floor.
Let's start way back in freshman year.
Yes, Katie had a really great freshman year.
And freshman year came around and...
When you think of sand in your shoes, you think of the beach. But for varsity long jumper Katie Floor, she thinks of landing in a sand pit after a long jump.
And they were doing a track call out. I went and I just started getting into long jump. Like, first day in practice, we had to decide what coach we wanted to go to, and I went with the jumpers, and that's really how it started. But I remember my very first meet, I basically scratched 2 out of 3 of my jumps. And it was so terrifying and nerve-wracking, because when you get tensed up and you're messing up and mistakes like that happen, you freak out and you don't know if you're going to be able to recover. But I got 1 jump through and I improved throughout the entire season.
When she was a freshman, she came in not knowing much, but she knew a little bit. And so then when Coach Craig taught her all of his ways, she took on all of it really well, and she succeeded very well. She's gone from 14 foot to like 16 foot. She's gonna get to 17 this year too.
I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, she actually gained 2 feet from when she started at the beginning of the year until the end of the year. She was our number 3 jumper as a freshman.
Bill Craig, long jumping coach, talks about how he trains his athletes.
Speed, because if you can't run fast, it's pretty hard to be a long jumper. So it's the same requirements as a good sprinter. They go through the same training. Obviously there are other components to it, but the main component is speed. Well, we have a pretty full season, we have 20 meets, so between indoor and outdoor. So we can't overtrain, because then people wind up injured by the time we get to the really important meets at the end of the year. So basically, we work hard in conditioning phase in the before we have meets, and then as we get into the season, we train less and less and compete more. She's a good jumper.
Floor discusses balancing her busy schedule.
I do have a pretty busy schedule, and sometimes balancing it is a little difficult. I just have to focus on what is the most important to me. So like my ALs, if I have a National Art Honor Society, it's completely designated towards that. And after school is completely designated towards track. And then after track, I just have to work hard on whatever I have, like homework or extracurricular activities. I would say that what really defines a varsity long jumper versus a regular long jumper was putting in the extra effort. A lot of the times we have little workouts that we're supposed to do over the weekend, and doing those workouts versus not doing those workouts can really define your abilities in practice and your abilities in meets, because skipping out on those workouts can put you further back than everyone else. So really focusing on yourself and focusing on being able to become a better athlete puts you ahead of everyone else. I do all of these extra practices and I'll run extra miles because to me being the best isn't really, I don't want to necessarily be better than everyone, but I always want to better myself, and I always want to beat my personal records. We have practice Monday through Friday. Tuesdays and Thursdays we're in the weight room, and that helps us out a lot. Over the weekend, I stick with an ab workout and I run 2 to 4 miles.
Once you're satisfied that they're running as fast as they can, then you work on technique. But long jump and high jump both, the stuff you do on the ground before you go airborne is most important. After that, it's just a question of talent and how fast they are.
I always just want to do the best that I can, and being able to do going above and beyond these extra workouts or exercises or whatever helps me prove to myself that what I'm doing is improving.
That's all we have on this episode. Once again, I'm Kaylee Parkus.
And I'm Luke Mello. Join us on our next trip
around the county.